Hi, I'm Lucy from Sew Essential and I'm here today to share my latest make with you. So everything I talk about is available on our lovely website and you'll find links to our website and all the products I mentioned below. If you like what you see today, please like and subscribe because every Friday I bring you a video packed full of sewing goodness. And if you can't wait a whole week, do jump on and check out our social media accounts. We're in all the usual places and I've linked those below. So what I've been sewing is a glorious sundress. So I'm really into sewing sundresses at the moment. I need more of them in my wardrobe for holidays that I've got coming up. And as soon as I saw this gorgeous cotton lawn fabric, I knew I wanted to make something with it. You know me, I love a bold, bright colour. I love a bold print. So this was right up my street. Having said that, I think there's a couple of other things I'd really like to make with this fabric, but I'd got it in my head I wanted to make a sundress, so that's what happened. But if I didn't have that pressure of the holidays coming up, there's a couple of other patterns I'm going to link below that I think would work really well with this fabric as well. One is Simplicity 9544, which is like a safari themed play suit or romper with short sleeves and obviously short trousers. And then I also really considered the Rita shirt dress pattern as well. I think that would work really well by named patterns, so I'll link those below for you. But I wanted to make a sundress, so I stuck with that idea and I'm really thrilled with how it's turned out. The cotton lawn's lovely. I haven't lined it because it seemed pretty opaque. Lovely weight, lovely drape and movement, but a little bit of structure as well, just perfect for a sundress. I'm really happy with this one. The pattern is McCalls 8177. I chose the sundress view, which has got these thick straps so I can wear a proper bra with this sundress. So I decided to do that this time. I made spaghetti straps on my last one. It's got like this sweetheart neckline created by a crossover bit with the button down front, and then it's got princess seams that come down the bust and run all the way down the skirt. And I've never done this before, but I really like the way it creates almost like a box pleat effect at the front because the skirt's flared. The princess seam is really fitted around the bust, draws you in at the waist, and then it creates this lovely bit of volume and almost like a box pleat on the skirt, which I really like. I've not done that before. I think when I've done full princess seams before, it's always been on more fitted designs. So yeah, really like that. There's princess seams at the back as well, and it's about knee length on me. So I am 5'6". And you can see it comes to just above the knee on me. So yeah, super pleased with this. Really love the fabric. Think it'll look great with my leather jacket over it in the evening when it's a bit cooler if I'm going to a barbecue or something like that. It just feels really comfy and easy to wear, and it's like a nice fit round the waist for me as well. Like it's quite loose round the waist but then fitted round the bust, which I really like. I think it's just a nice fit. Yeah, really happy with this design. So the pattern, let me talk to you a bit more about that, is McCalls 8177. So there's this view which I'm wearing. There's also a view which has got exactly the same bodice, but then instead of straps, it's got a gathered puff sleeve that comes down to about 3/4 by the looks of it, and is gathered into elastic at the hem. Or there's a version for a maxi version, which has got the option to create a belt to go with it, and then shorter puff sleeves that come to about sort of the top of your arm there. Sizes run from a 6 to a 24. So the 6 is a 30.5 bust, 23 waist and 32.5 hip, and the 24 is a 46 bust, 39 waist and 48 hip. So lots of options there, a lot of fun to sew. I really enjoyed making this one. So in terms of the fitting and adjustments, or the sizing and adjustments, I made a size 10 at the bust and then graded out to a 12 to 14, I think it was, at the waist and hips. I've been making a 10 round the bust recently because I found that that fits me better around the armholes and everything when I'm making tops with sleeves and things. However, on this occasion, I think, I was really lucky. I don't think the 10 really would have fitted me. I had to do a couple of things to make it fit, which I'll talk to you about. I think I probably should have made the 12 on this one. but I didn't make a toile. So what I did was a tissue fit. So I graded my pattern pieces from the 10 to the 12 to 14 at the waist and hips, and then I pinned the pattern pieces together with a 5/8 seam and just tried the pattern tissue against my body to see how the fit was. And it was really it looked good, it looked really good, and I thought, I don't need to toile this, I'm confident this is going to be okay. However, I did make one mistake, and that was that I assumed that the back was going to be cut on the fold, and actually it was cut in 2 pieces. So when I did the tissue fit, I held the tissue against my body. I got my 10-year-old son, poor thing, got roped into checking where the back piece came across my back. And actually the centre back, he said, oh yeah, it comes just past your spine, Mum, you know, just across my centre back. And I thought, right, okay, there's enough room there, that's fine, that'll be okay. If I need to take it in a little bit to make it smaller, I can, you know. And then I cut all the pattern pieces out and then realised that the centre back, the back pieces were cut as 2 and would have a centre back seam, and thought, oh my goodness me, there really isn't a lot of room for manoeuvre there. If the tissue only just came past my spine, you know, I'm not going to be able to do a 5/8 seam down the centre back. So what I did was I did a 1/4 of an inch seam, and I think I probably just tacked like the fabric pieces together, or did I sew them together? I think I might have sewn them all together and just did a try on in the fabric. Luckily that worked out okay and everything fit okay. It probably is, it's quite a close fit on the bust. I mean, I wouldn't say it's too tight at all. I think it's probably spot on. But yeah, I was very, very lucky with that one. So yeah, sort of lesson learned really, that I can't just assume that I'm going to be a size 10 on the bust. I think I still need to just be careful, just double check that when I'm making things. Because also the other thing I did was I probably sewed the buttons a bit closer to the edge of the fabric underneath, just to give me a little bit more room at the bust. And also I did the buttonholes vertically rather than horizontally. On the pattern they suggested doing them horizontally, but I thought, well, if I do that, you know, and it is quite a close fit on the bust, there's a bit too much room for manoeuvre there. So I thought, well, if I do the vertical buttonholes, it will keep it exactly where I want it to be width-wise. So that was like a good little sort of way of getting around that. And another mistake I made on this make as well was I did my buttonholes too small. So yeah, I've got like a 1-step buttonhole on my brilliant 75Q. You can get this on our website, I'll pop a link to it below for you, but it comes with one of the Sensormatic buttonhole feet that Husqvarna do, which are brilliant. You just press a button and you type in what size button you sew and press a button and it sews it. But it is really only for sort of thicker fabrics. Sometimes on lighter weight fabrics or fabrics where there's a bit of unevenness, you're better off using your manual buttonhole foot on these machines. And in which case you just mark the buttonhole, stitch, press reverse, and it does the other side, and then you press it again to join it up. So I switched between the two. I thought, no, I think I want to do, because I was sewing quite close to the edge, I thought I want to use my manual buttonhole foot for this, and marked all my buttonholes on and didn't think to test one of those. I tested the one stitched out by the Sensormatic buttonhole, but didn't test the ones that I'd drawn on manually. Did 8 of them and then realised my buttons wouldn't fit, and I'd already made all my self-covered buttons. I sort of thought for a minute, oh, shall I use smaller buttons? And then I thought, no, I really don't want to. I like the 15mm ones. I think they're the perfect size for this dress. I think the 11mm ones would have looked a bit lost. So it was sort of not panic stations, but you know, when you're kind of thinking, oh, what have I done here? And in the end, I thought I'm just going to have to make them bigger. So I did a test on a scrap of fabric, always my mantra, test everything on scraps of fabric. I'd already done some test buttonholes anyway. I'd interfaced a bit of fabric and recreated the actual facing so that it was exactly the same. So I stitched a buttonhole, cut it open because I'd cut them all open, and then I marked where I wanted to make the buttonhole bigger to, and practiced lining the needle up perfectly with the buttonhole above, and then stitched at the whole buttonhole again, but starting lower down to make it bigger, and then just cut it open. And I'm happy to say it worked a treat. It wasn't a very enjoyable process at the start, kind of redoing 8 buttonholes, and especially under the circumstances where I'd sort of made this mistake and was trying to fix it, but actually it worked out really well. I was really pleased with how the buttonholes turned out. So you can see this one here. Hopefully that'll focus in on that for you, but you can see, it still looks like a lovely, neat buttonhole. I just went over the original buttonhole and just started it a bit lower down, and I'm really pleased with how that worked out. So the sort of moral of the story really with that one is check your buttonholes before you sew them and cut them open, make sure they're the right size. But also, I said to my husband last night, one of the truest phrases I ever heard when it comes to sewing is that you never stop making mistakes, you just get better at fixing them. And I think that is a prime example of that little motto, which I hold dear to my heart. So just thought I'd share that with you in case anyone else ever finds themselves in that situation. For the buttons, I decided to do self-cover buttons. I just thought it's such a loud, bold print. I don't really want like a contrasting button competing with that. So I just decided to do self-covered buttons, and I used our Prim self-cover buttons and our Prim self-cover button tool, which is a great little tool. I haven't used one of them before. But yeah, you just place the fabric over a little hole that's the right size for the button, push your button in, I like to use my unpicker just to tuck the fabric in and make sure everything's nice and neat. Then you put the little ring over the end of the button, and then there's another part to the tool that you just push down on top, and that secures everything in place. And yeah, it was really fun making the buttons with that, so I enjoyed that. I think that's really it, to be honest. Nothing else major to report with the construction. It was all dead straightforward. Yeah, so it was just a really, really enjoyable make. I don't think there's anything else I need to talk to you about. It's a lovely fabric to sew with. I definitely recommend these cotton lawns, especially for beginners. They're really nice and easy to work with. They press beautifully. They're nice and stable, nice and easy to sew things like buttonholes on. So yeah, so all in all, a successful project, a quick turnaround project, couple of mishaps along the way, but managed to fix them. I really like this pattern. I'd definitely make it again. And as I said at the start of the video, everything I talked about today, the pattern, the fabric, the buttons, the button tool, everything, you'll find it all on our website, and the links to all the products and our website are below. If you like what you see today, please like and subscribe, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.